All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So thanks for joining me in the garage today. I just got back from road trip in my Tesla Model Y long range, and it did really well. I was actually really pleased with how the car went. It handled great. Supercharging went great. This is my 2015 Tesla Model S. It's the P85D. It doesn't have as much range. It doesn't charge as fast. And I've been road tripping this for the last couple years, and then kind of trying the Model Y for the first time this last weekend. Actually worked out really good. I was really happy with it. So what I want to talk about today, I want to show you guys inside the Model Y. I want to show you a couple tips and tricks that I used to really help maximize my time charging and to kind of really minimize the wait time that I was waiting around for charging. So let's get in the car and I want to show you a few things. One of the considerations when you're taking road trip in a Tesla is going to be the charging, obviously. That's going to be the big concern. It's a lot different than a gas car because you have charging to consider. The Tesla supercharging network has been built up over the last couple years. Since I bought my Model S a couple years ago, since then, the charging network has expanded quite a bit, and I have a lot more options now. And so, for example, I'm in the navigation screen here, and if I just type in let's say I want to go on a road trip. Like recently, I went to like Las Vegas from northern Utah, where I live. I type in Las Vegas here, it will calculate the route for me. So you see this here, it's going to say it's going to find chargers. I need to stop here, here, and here, and it tells me how long I need to stop at each place: 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then at my destination, I'll get there with 21%. So it's pretty cool that it will calculate the route for you. But if I was going to follow this same route that they suggested, it would have taken a lot longer because it suggested 3 stops, whereas I calculated it kind of on my own, and I only did 2 stops, and I made it there just fine. So, for example, this first stop here, if I click on the little red number there, that's the charging stop, it'll tell me that this is a 150 kilowatt charger with only 8 charging stalls. I've been to that charger before, and I try to skip that charger because it's only 150 kilowatts. When the charger is 150 kilowatts, it also means that if there's a car right next to you, you're splitting the charge, so you're only getting 75 kilowatts, so it's even slower than 150. And so really it makes sense to go to the 250 kilowatt. That's kind of the charging speed. So this is an older, slower one. I want to skip over that. That's only about 110 miles from me. So if I kind of look a little bit further here, this one here has 23 chargers available. That the number on there tells you the number available. And so this is about 223 miles away. I kind of just manually calculated the distance. Well, how far is it from my place to this charger here? That's the next one down the road. About 223 miles. But if I look at that one, I've been there before and I kind of know, but it's got 250 kilowatt chargers and it's got 24 stalls. So there's not as much of a chance of that of me having to wait to get a stall. And if I can skip over this 150 kilowatt charger, I will, and get to this one here. So it's helpful to have a car with a longer range. This is the Model Y long range. It can charge up to 325 miles, and probably going realistically 250 miles on the road is probably realistic. So anything probably 230 miles to 200 miles is probably what I want to do in one stretch. Because really my goal when on a road trip is to get there as quickly as possible and minimize my stops and charging times. So to give you also an example, what I like to do is I like to find my chargers, but kind of before I go on the trip. This is a map. This is on the Tesla.com website, and what I'm doing here is if I go under charging, supercharging locations, and then finding locations, I pull up this map here. This is a map of the United States here, but you can toggle what you want to see. So I want to turn off destination chargers. I only want to see superchargers. You see that's the only dark part there. So this is only going to show me superchargers. I like this map primarily because it shows future supercharged locations, which I think is cool because you can kind of see where new ones are going to go in. So if we look in, like, for example, Las Vegas area here, outside of town, Henderson, there's a couple new charging locations here. See how they're kind of light gray, they're not red yet. You just click on the location, the station, and it says it's going to open in Q3 of 2023. So it's still about a year away. But it's cool that they're planning for that, and you can kind of see where these locations are. So I like using this map because I can look along my route here and I can see all the locations. I have 2 stops here I can stop at. Those are both new 250 kilowatt chargers. This one's an older 150 and it's off the freeway a little bit, so I don't want to stop there. So if I can skip that, I will. And then this is a new one, 16 chargers, it has 250 kilowatts on it. So going through each of the locations and just tapping on them, it'll show you how many chargers and then what the speed is. And so with these newer Teslas, you want to charge at the faster speeds because it's going to maximize your charging time So just really going through the route. So really tip number one, guys, is skip the 150 kilowatt chargers, and then also try to plan out your own route, because by me kind of planning out my own route on the map, I was able to eliminate a stop and probably save myself 20 to 30 minutes of stop and charging time, which, you know, ultimately that adds up on a 7-hour road trip. You know, that makes a difference, especially with kids in the car. And, you know, I just wanted to get there as quickly as possible. That really helped out. There's a little lightning bolt that shows up here on the right side. If I touch that, it's going to show up, chargers are going to show up. Now, see these lightning bolts on the top here? There's a 1, 2, and a 3. That's going to be our level 3 chargers, 2, and then destination chargers. So if you can filter out which kind of chargers you want to see on the map here. But if I go down, for example, if I go down, I'm pointing this out because one of the viewers left a comment on my last video, and they were doing the same road trip I was, but just in the opposite direction. This is a popular spot if you're traveling from northern Utah down south to like St. George, Las Vegas area. There's a city in the middle of the state called Beaver. But if you zoom in, he says that he was getting the temporarily closed warning on the supercharger. So if I go up here and I filter through the superchargers, I have it on the V3s. But if I show V2s also, if I don't show the V3, let's just say you just have it on the V2 chargers here, and I go back to that same location. I don't know why it keeps changing the location. Look at this here. If I go back here to the same location and I touch on here, there's actually two little icons here. If I touch on this one, see how it says temporary closure on this one? Temporarily closed. Well, I got that warning too, and I was like, oh, that can't be right. But I've been there before that I knew that they're closing down the 150 kilowatt chargers. There's 8 of them, and because they built 24 new 250 kilowatts. So if you get that temporarily closed, or there's a closure, zoom in really close like this and make sure that your filter that you're showing the V3 superchargers. So if I go back down there, it'll now show open. If I touch on this part here, 24 stalls available. If I touch on this part here, temporarily closed, because they're closing down. So sometimes if you see that warning, make sure you're zooming in really close and seeing if there's 2 different stations. Close these ones down. So that's where you're getting that temporarily closed there. But all the V3 250 kilowatt max are all open there. So make sure you're aware of that when you're looking at supercharged locations. Now, as you're searching for the superchargers to stop at, if you touch on the supercharger and you want to navigate there, I probably don't have enough charge to get there. I only have, 257 miles of charge right now. It's telling me I have to stop at this Nephi one as an intermittent, but I can remove all charging stops here. Let's see. Remove all charging stops, and you can kind of see, once you've kind of calculated, I want to try to make it to this supercharger, you're able to see what your percentage is. If you can't make it there, then just go back and let the computer route you, and you'll be able to get there safely. You'll have to make a stop there. But because I know if I can't get there, I'm gonna have negative 2%. That just means I need to fill up my battery to 100% if I'm going to leave. So that way I can calculate to get there, with a little bit of a buffer there. So if I had a full charge, it would probably say 5 or 6% I'd get there. Okay, one other nice thing with charging networks kind of being built up, not only the Tesla network, but also there's other charging networks. There's like EVgo, Electrify America, there's the ChargePoint DC fast charger. There's a whole group of other chargers that are available. And now Tesla, a lot of these newer Teslas have access to these new Tesla CCS adapters. So these are a fast charger plug adapter. This is the kind of the charging standard for other vehicles, which is the CCS plug. And so getting this through Tesla, and there's even some aftermarket options available. Stay tuned. In the next video, we're going to do a review of an aftermarket version of this Tesla charger, charging adapter, the CCS adapter. But having this adapter allows you to go to these other networks, these other fast charging networks, and charge outside of the Tesla network. So if you don't have free supercharging, if you're paying for your Tesla supercharging, you can go to other, like Electrify America network, and charge up on their network, and you're paying similar prices to the Tesla supercharging. So if there's more convenience to stop at Electrify America or a ChargePoint fast charger, maybe they have better, maybe the location's a little bit better, maybe it's a little more convenient, maybe they have better food options or shopping options next to it. that makes a difference. And so it's exciting to see all these new charging networks kind of starting to expand. Tesla's expanded. Other third-party companies are going to start expanding and growing the charging network. So it's really just going to make traveling in an electric vehicle a lot easier, a lot more comfortable, less stressful, and more options. And so that's really the cool thing. So I really would recommend skipping over the 150 chargers, planning out your own route, and even getting the adapters so you can charge at other charging networks. That really is going to really help you. That's going to help you in your road tripping in your Tesla. Anyways, guys, hope you found this useful or helpful. Leave your comments down below if you have any comments or tips on traveling or road tripping in your Tesla. I'm really impressed with this Model Y. Love the range. Really, when it comes to road trips, guys, the range is key. The more range you have, the better. I'm glad I have the long range and not the performance version because I've got that extra, 20 or so miles. And that really does make a difference when you're road tripping. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.